Hello and welcome again to class. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and also making comments. Thank you so much for being supportive. We appreciate this. Now, if like you're watching, you've not shared or liked or subscribed, please do that. Thank you so much. It's a way of showing that you appreciate our efforts. Now, we're already on matters concerning health of animals. This is poultry science. Now, we've looked at ailments that affect poultry birds, particularly chicken, because it's most commonly read. Now, we've also looked at Newcastle disease and the others, infectious bursal disease, infectious bronchitis, and others. Now, we started with fowl cholera in the previous class. In the previous class, we looked at the other name of it. The common name is fowl cholera. Other name of it is Pasteurella. Another name for it, or avian hemorrhagic septicemia. Now I'm going to tell you something about it. Now, why is it being called Pasteurella is in reference to the organism that causes it. That is the causal organism, which is Pasteurella. Okay. Pasteurella multocida, which is the causal agent. So we looked at it also in the previous class. And then why do we call it? Why is it called avian hemorrhagic septicemia? Avian, for example, like I told you, big names in science, break them in pieces. You get to put them again. You get to know the meaning. Avian means affecting aves, that is affecting birds. Now, hemorrhagic had to do with hemorrhage. Hemorrhage occurs usually when there's a breakage in the blood vessel, and then it leads to bleeding. The bleeding outside or inside, meaning internal or external. So hemorrhagic septicemia. Septicemia is simply poisoning of the blood as a result of infection from bacteria. So bacterial activities leads to poisoning of the blood. So what happens when a person comes when a bird comes down with fowl cholera? It has been infected by Pasteurella multocida. So upon multiplication, the activity leads to the poison of the blood. We also looked at signs and symptoms, which also include weakness, tiredness, and also loss of appetite. And then you see bleeding. You see the head, you see certain sores in the parts of the head and the others. Then we looked at mode of transmission. Mode of transmission through equipment that you have the bacteria lodged on it, or through birds that are strayed, birds stray and then enters into your farm. Don't say, oh, well, it's an addition to my bird. Don't put them, no. Even when you buy new birds or someone gives you a gift, don't introduce them into your flock. I've always said this, you put them quarantined in a particular pen up to 2 weeks minimum. If they don't come up with any ailments, they are still fine and good, then you can introduce them, if you must introduce them into your own flock. So that's it. Now, if you want to get this in full, I've just done a brief summary of what we did last week. You can check on the previous videos. Please share if you've enjoyed them. Now let's go straight to what we have today. Today we'll look at the treatment and the prevention of fowl cholera, also called Pasteurellosis or avian hemorrhagic septicemia. We'll do that very quickly and because of the time. Thank you so much. So today we look at the treatment of it. Now the entire flock can be wiped out. That is one of the dangers of this. But then you can treat them using what? Sulfur-based antibiotics. Now that's the good thing about bacterial infections or ailment that come up as a result of bacterial infection, as opposed to the previous ailments we've looked at, which had to be a series of viral ailments, Gumboro disease, Newcastle disease, Marek disease. Those ones you're not sure being good curative treatment. You manage them or you prevent them from happening. But in this case, bacterial infection, strong antibiotics can do that. In this case, particularly sulfur-based one, sulfaquinoxaline is okay, and sulfonamide are okay, and oxytetracyclines are okay. used according to the prescription of your vet doctor in your locality. And then note something, withdrawal period. Now there's something about withdrawal period, let me talk about this. Now if you look at the package of drugs, most antibiotics, they will tell you for lactating cow, so number of days, for laying birds, for the eggs that are laid when the bird is taken. Now what is withdrawal period? The period between a certain number of days, could be 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 week, between when the animal finished taking a particular drug to when the meat or milk for cattle, or the meat that is for broiler chicken, or egg is considered relatively safe for consumption, in which case there is a reduction, considerable, significant reduction in the quantity of the antibiotic. Remainder levels of it have been reduced. So you don't have sublethal levels, reduced levels, small levels of it still in the meat. Now the thing is this, animals that are taking drug, the drug gets to be dissolved and then carried by the blood. You know the blood goes to every part of the body. Now when the bird lay egg, there are some levels of the antibiotic inside it. There are some level of the antibiotic in the meat of an animal, including milk for milking cattle or any animal, including goats. If any humans eat them, the same oxytetracycline or tetracycline we use is the same thing. It leads to drug resistance in humans. So, because what bacteria do is this, if they take a little that is not big enough, that is not large enough to kill it, it's going to take it, overcome the effect of it, and then build a resistance to that drug because of keeping it in memory that look, this have happened. It has a way of developing an immune system, innate immune system against that drug. So what will happen if humans now fall sick to a bacterial ailment, an ailment caused by bacteria? For example, now typhoid, typhoid is typhoid, malaria, typhoid. Now, anti-malaria solves malaria. Then antibiotics usually are used to take care of typhoid. Now, you will need a higher dose of antibiotic to kill the bacteria that is inside, because the bacteria in your body are already taking little oxytetracycline or the others, and then they have developed resistance to it. So small dose or the normal dose will not be able to kill them again. So you need a higher dose, and that can lead to what? Danger, overdosage, and other things. Drug resistance gets worse. So that is why you have to be careful when you want to eat an animal. Make sure that you stop giving a drug up to 3, 4, 5 days before you eat the chicken. Also eggs, but you know that most times people don't consider this. You buy egg in the market, you don't know if the birds that laid it in the farm were on treatment. Only after you cooked it, some people may be able to tell. You may tell that from the egg, the color of the egg. You begin to see a grayish color instead of the golden yellow. Yes, it can be as a result of the corn also, but that you see, you will know an egg that is from a bird that was on antibiotic or drug when it laid. So that what most people don't know. That's why you give a thumbs up to things like this. We share value, we share knowledge, we give you. So you cook an egg, you cook it. But how about if you didn't cook it? If you fried the egg, how would you know if the egg was fried, or maybe you just put it into something and then you drank? You will not know. So these are some of the things, awareness and orientation need to be made known to people. Now let's go straight to continue with the prevention for the sake of the video, the length. Now another way of preventing it, they say prevention is better than cure, and that's true. It's better to prevent. One thing about poultry, and in fact any animal keeping, is this: try to ensure that you're clean. Cleanliness is good. Biosecurity measures are good. Now let's see this one. Say vaccinate the birds. Vaccination is good, especially if you are in a place that is endemic to this particular fowl cholera. You have to vaccinate your birds if your farm is located there. Number 2, your proper sanitation. I talked about that. Sterilize equipment that needs to be sterilized, and also clean, wash, take care of them. Now I always say this: if you have farm hands, workers in your farm, warn them, especially if your farm is located where in a farm settlement where you also have other farmers. Please don't go to other people's place. Don't bring diseases. Don't blend things. Don't do this. So try to make sure you restrict that. Another thing is you restrict movement. Control movement. Restrict movement. Visitors. Now some of your farm hands, your employees may have friends in another farm. So they should be careful how they go to visit the farm, or they allow their friends to come. So you have to be very careful, watch these things, educate them, tell them, say, look, if we bring down this farm, you won't have your source of income. So things like that, so they'll get to know, so they also will be aware and be responsible towards it. Then number 3, control vectors. Vectors are animals that also carry the pathogens that is the disease causing pathogen. For example, now cockroaches will be carrying the bacteria, and lizards will be carrying the bacteria. Stray birds may be carrying the bacteria, including humans too. Some may have caught that. That's what we just talked about. You go to a place and you picked it up, maybe you bought a clothes or something, and I picked up the bacteria. You come to this place, you transfer it. Now we'll have to draw the curtain on this. Perhaps you have a contribution, you have a thing or two to say, or you have a question. Please put it down in the comment section. I want to thank you so much for being part of this. Now you want to check out other videos, please go to the other videos. Please like, subscribe for those. We'll see you next class. Thank you so much.